People, we have a very special musical guest this week, Zach Chessman, star singer. Why don't you lead us into the episode with a little ditty, Zach?
You just want me to...
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'm
tuning up here.
You build yourself as a musical guest?
Sorry, what kind of music do you usually have on the show?
Sitar.
You brought your harpsichord
and your sitar.
It's a sitar
both
chord. Yeah, it's a combination.
Yeah, you're doing like a 60s psychedelia throwback act. So
Yeah.
Go ahead, man. Whenever you're ready.
It just seemed like when you were pitching it to us, you had a pretty concrete conception of the act.
Sorry, I'm on a lot of acid right now.
Like we three do, seemingly.
All right, well, if you want to pitch your your religious message, you can take over there.
Yeah, sure. So there are 5 layers to miniaturism, as I call it, where it requires buying more and more miniatures. Oh, this accompaniment is really great, by the way. I can tell we're not going to have to edit this audio at all because they're both going to be the same volume. One another. The 5 tenets of miniaturism. First of all, you must buy expensive miniatures at all time. The second tenet of which is painting them. Now, these go hand in hand, and it's very important. The third tenet, masturbation's a sin. Your semen is the vital essence that gives you life. The fourth tenet, keep that sitar coming, you bearded motherfucker.
Oh, sorry.
That is the fourth one.
Really distracted.
The fourth rule of miniaturism.
Yeah, the fifth rule is that you're allowed to kind of riff on whatever you want, including extending the rules of miniaturism if you so chose.
Yeah.
If either of you wanted to expand on this bit.
Oh, I wouldn't want to rob the spotlight from you.
Okay. Well, that's
want to take that away from you.
And I'm a maximalist, so I can't speak to...
Yeah.
I only paint trains, that's all.
I'll expand. I know I'm just a guest. Bling dong. Yeah. I know I'm just a guest. Bling dong ding. I know I'm just the accompaniment, but I think I want to expand on miniaturism. I think a rule I would put on the end of miniaturism is that if you meet another miniaturist, you have to... Thanks for picking up. I'm glad you brought your own sitar. This is great.
He's playing your sitar, bro. It's fine.
No, I still... Okay. Is that if you meet another miniaturist, you have to face them in a sort of Highlander showdown.
That's true.
And whoever wins, they get sucked up into the original person. You get all their miniatures.
That's also true.
Wow.
Does the person become a miniature?
We can workshop that into the theology. Much like Mormonism, we have a very flexible structure of revelation where new things about the teaching can be revealed to me.
Yeah,
and I can pass that down.
The sixth tenet is that you have magic powers to shrink people
up through the pyramid. We practice an inverted pyramid structure where I'm the lowest member, and yet the word of God flows through me up to the, I guess we would call them the lesser echelons of the pyramid.
The upper echelons.
The lesser echelons, yes.
Well,
the lesser
above.
upper echelons.
Okay.
You know what's interesting is that this inane bullshit has actually hit upon an interesting premise for a world.
Yes.
Isn't that cool?
You are the lore lad. And can we explain to the listeners what that means?
Yeah, you unlucky folks are listening to 30-Minute Worlds, a podcast where we create a fictional world in 30 minutes or less, or usually more. The structure of it is that one person is the lore lad, has executive rule, and the other 3 people bring in the prompt word. And from those 3 words, a whole world is spun. And folks, I hope one of your words involves miniatures. Because that's a cool idea. You
I hope it does too.
I'm attached to that now, so I'll let you know.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, and just finished watching all 8 Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movies before getting on the pod today.
It's a hell of a franchise.
Cinematic masterpieces.
Chessman, would you like to spout the first word here?
I don't want to say sitar, but it's just right there.
Go ahead and do it, brother.
Yeah, I can't think of a more general word than sitar.
A famously general word. Okay, sure.
That's a very
lute.
big vibe,
How about
too.
lute? This is a lute family instrument. Any of those.
You've made more European.
You dumbed it down. Yeah.
So, well,
I like Sitar, but Dan?
My word is scavenger.
Okay, so I'm left to pick miniature, which is a shame because I wanted to pick pyramid.
Well,
but
pick pyramid. No, pick pyramid.
I pick pyramid. I pick pyramid hands down.
Okay.
Pyramids are tight.
Scavenger, pyramid, sitar.
yes.
Yeah.
Musical instruments of power hidden inside of pyramids that are stolen.
Yeah, well, what's interesting, scavenger and pyramid intuitively
They
go
go
together.
together very well.
Yeah.
Tomb robbers.
It's acquisitions.
Tomb
It's not-
acquisitions.
There's no robbing. They're dead, so you can't. It
In
doesn't
fact,
matter.
it's almost too easy.
Yeah. What if there are no pyramids, but there will be? Like they're being built right now. So the pyramids, as we typically think of them in history or in literature, are these ancient standing things that we interact with past, through history, But what if the building of the pyramids is currently happening on this world,
It could be people looting materials to build these
They're
structures.
more of a new thing and less of a historical thing that you rob
Okay.
through your scavengers. That way you can kind of subvert the scavenger thing a little bit.
Okay, so
What if they're used to
that's
store
interesting.
grain and the scavengers need to go ahead
And store
and
it.
actually find grain?
Oh, yeah. They need to put
Pyramid.
it somewhere. One of them has a nice
No.
coat.
No, we're not putting grain in the pyramids.
We might be.
We're
It's
doing
all
a Ben
dependent.
Carson episode, all right? It's happening.
we'll have to see what's in the pyramid. So that's interesting. A civilization is scavenging / gathering / looting massive amounts of materials to build, I guess, like one massive pyramid, maybe?
Maybe there's a huge demand on for pyramids. Maybe the ruler wants a big one because the shape of a pyramid is important. It could have some divine purpose for these people.
Well, the purpose of pyramids in South American empires was to conduct sound. You went to the top of
Really?
the pyramid and people far away could hear you. That's actual.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, yeah. I guess that makes sense.
So what if the purpose of these pyramids isn't to conduct sound, but to do a similar sort of thing, to get a higher vantage point? Because if you don't have the technology to build towers, then the best way to make like a tall structure is pyramids.
That is kind of true, actually. If it's that far, like if we haven't even figured out towers yet, I guess a pyramid is a roundabout way of doing that.
That may be the least interesting justification for building a pyramid, though, to go up.
lack of technology
Well,
to
when you
build
hang on,
towers.
a pyramid, and we tend to think of them as tomb structures, but they would be inassailable, right? Like it'd be kind of hard to climb up one. What if you put important stuff on top of pyramids? And they were
I mean,
more...
they're defensible, but they're not hard to climb. Like,
the pyramids used to have smooth sides.
Well, you're talking
they
about
would
the
sand the
Egyptian
stone
pyramids. The pyramids that amplify sound did not have smooth sides. That's actually what amplified
That's
it
true,
partially. Is
actually.
it went up and to the side and up and to the side like a Minecraft structure.
It would actually it'd be very hard to climb because you'd have to go up like an entire length of a human every time you wanted to go up.
I guess it depends on the
one
scale
step.
of the pyramid in question.
The Japanese castles kind of had those pyramidal sides that you could theoretically climb up.
That's
but
true.
They were very...
Oh,
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like we're getting stuck on the pyramids. Why?
That is true.
Well, let's just quickly figure out an interesting reason. I mean, amplifying sound, if we take that to more metaphysical heights,
Well, that plays into Sitar, too. Yeah.
bards. Bards.
Oh shit!
Oh, pyramids as, amplifiers for magical music.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
So where do the musicians play that these pyramids are designed to amplify sound from? Do they amplify sound from the top of the pyramid,
yes,
or
you go
from
to the top of the
Yeah.
pyramid and your sound is amplified all around you.
It's usually a religious functionary is kind of at the top of the pyramid, and he's killing somebody or something. Conducting a ceremony.
So music is magic with the sitars. I like sitars in the setting because I love the sound of the sitar. It's one of the most beautiful sounding instruments, I think. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just like that.
like that? Yeah.
So natural. It's so organic. It just comes in and out.
Could there be a race going on, basically, to build the grandest pyramid to exert magical influence over everybody?
or to build the most of them, right?
And that's why they're scavenging other buildings for these materials.
It would be cool if an invading army just came in and tore down everything. It was like, we need all this stone for this bullshit pyramid.
Yeah, they take your bricks and your rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a pyramid of one monolithic material. It's like scavenged shit that's been looted from like 100 different kingdoms that people are building.
Right.
Like
that's cool.
mud
That's a cool
bricks
aesthetic.
and stuff that's been like baked in the sun and like rudimentary concrete and like carved marble and shit like that. It's a patchwork pyramid.
That would be
I
really
like that.
tough.
It'd
right?
be dope. And I think aesthetically we should lean towards it.
Mm-hmm. Because part of the reason that you use big blocks to make a pyramid out of is because if the more like breaks that you make in it to make in the stone to move it, the like less structurally sound it is.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Right, but the people of this society don't they don't necessarily know that. And B, they could have stone where they come from that's unworkable, that is too hard for them to actually cut by themselves, right? So it could be that it's just infeasible for them to gather even if they did know it.
or it just doesn't come in gigantic. It doesn't break off in gigantic pieces.
Or they don't have masonry like as a trade.
No,
or a
so
skill.
maybe the heart of the pyramid civilization is in a jungle of some sort. Mm-hmm. They've access to lots of wood, but nothing that's a little more solid, like rock or stone. They have to go pillaging lots of other civilizations, and part of what they're actively trying to destroy their civilizations too. I mean, it's not the most efficient way to build something to like break down existing structures and steal it away. So I think it's also part of their MO for some reason.
They're a scavenger people, yeah.
And I like the idea too of like they've figured out this musical like method of waging war, right? Or of just exerting control over people. So like they would be trundling around these wooden siege towers that they construct out of their forest that the bards ride on top of. And they're using they're like pyramidal siege towers they use to amplify the effects of their music on the people that they're meeting. It's sort of like a wall of Jericho situation. Like you don't have to siege a city down, you blow down the walls. And then maybe that disassembles them. Maybe magic that does disassemble things. I don't know.
Well, yeah, like you said, Jericho.
Yeah, maybe they have percussion that. Sorry, it's like a siege hammer kind of thing.
There could be walls in the setting that are torn down by magic, and ironically, a pyramid against that kind of magic is also like very stable, right? Because it's actually equal on all sides. It's not easily toppled down. What if pyramids are used to topple these walls, but they're also ironically kind of like the best defensive sort of measure you can have?
That makes sense.
The battle of the bands, bro.
In my mind, they're like religious fanatics.
Yeah.
Like music is maybe core to their religion, which makes sense. A lot of real world religions are like music is heavily entwined with their traditions and spirituality. And there's an emperor whose goal is to make the like biggest structure in the world to amplify his music far and above any others and get control that way.
He's got some idea that he can build a pyramid big enough to like send music throughout the whole world.
Well, to the heavens is sort of the
This pyramid goes up to 11.
You turn the pyramid amp.
I turn it up to it goes up to 11. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, why don't you make the 10th one just higher?
This one goes to 11.
Why don't we build 5 pyramids instead of 1, and then we got 5 times the power?
No.
And that's the pyramid
I'm
Australia.
God Emperor, and I say no. I want the biggest sound, bro. It could be like an axis of pyramids, or like a circle,
a central
or something.
ring of like great pyramid cities, pyramidal structures that people fucking inhabit, perform worship on, and also live in.
Yeah, no, because if it's like a ring, you could have a concert on top of the pyramids and like link the sounds together because they'd be able to, because they're amplified, they go from place to place and all links up.
There's something magical about the shape too, that's helpful. Belvin, you were going to say something.
That's interesting. I mean, if there are 4 spots, if we're talking about music, having like vocals on one, percussion on another, sitar on a third.
Yeah.
On the 4th, I don't know.
Woodwinds.
The bass.
A rhythm instrument.
Woodwinds.
And then there's
Get out of
ball
here.
on the bass.
No empire ever conquered based off the woodwind.
They're all clarinets in the fourth square. The put upon class of musicians.
The tuba tower. That's cool. I mean, and we could also say that each magical school like kind of is associated with one of the types.
Well,
of instrumentation.
depending on how widespread this magic is, if it's widespread enough that people's personal families could actually have it, your house could be shaped kind of pyramidally so that you could climb up on your roof and like send a musical message to someone who you do business with far away. It could have other functions besides like, so it's kind of neat. Like, if you start thinking of these things as explicitly magical and how they transmit sound and do things.
Well, and a pyramid is one shape that does that, right? And the pyramid is a shape that does that too in all directions, I think, or at least in 4 cardinal directions, I think, based on the shape. They kind of step it off on the corners so it works in the other directions. But like there are other shapes that you could make if you just want to send sound one direction, right? So maybe they're not all pyramids, but people would definitely like, there'd be in the town square, there would be a little pyramid going up that just sends sound down all the streets.
Right. At the center of each street, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think there would be pastoral music. There'd be structures set up next to all the fields, so you can just stand up and then play your tune, and the sheep do whatever they're supposed to do.
That's cool. Yeah.
I like the idea of like a little like scarecrow guy holding like a reed sitar or something like that. Like it's like a good omen.
Because sound can be so destructive in this setting, if a town is attacked, you do just kind of withdraw to the big pyramid, get on top of it, and then you have the advantage of sound now, you know? And there's no walls to crumble or anything. It's more of like a retreat to the center of town, you know?
A bastion.
And maybe they have like temporary living facilities or temple housing facilities inside the largest, of these structures.
It makes sense if they're like religious institutions.
Oh, this is cool. What about this scavenger cast of people? The whole civilization has farms, as we've established, and they have livestock and towns. So the scavengers are kind of a separate niche, right?
I thought that we had discussed like the scavengers, like these are a people of scavengers looting materials and people from other places.
Yes, that does track with what we said before.
I mean, the scavenger could just be the army.
Yeah.
Theoretically, they could also like try to capture people where they go and use those people to gather materials. I mean, that'd be dark but historical.
A captured people being made to
I
build
don't know what the word is for those.
Where have I heard this before?
Pyramid people.
Most of the pyramids were built by professional workers.
Yeah, they're built by paid laborers.
called
They're not built by
pyramid guys.
Jewish
Paid
slaves. But anyway.
Okay, so we have this. Well, what's the faith? I mean, just broad strokes.
The Big Beat Manifesto. Make big beats, get high all the time. And there's a third one.
The third one is drink pyramid wine, and then it comes in a pyramid-shaped bottle.
How are you spelling beat? B-E-E-T?
B-E-E-T-E-E-E-E.
No.
Yeah, the last 4 are silent. Yeah.
So you had mentioned something, Belvin, about a god, emperor, godlike figure, which the pyramids, to direct that kind of massive construction, you would need like a huge, all-encompassing faith that drove you to do shit like that.
Yeah, so maybe like the folk faith that's in a lot of this world is like God comes from music, music is God. Like in the beginning, there was melody. The rest came from that.
I like that. I like to think that... Oh, go on.
But the new religion... the like sort of darker world conquering religion that's trying to build this Tower of Babel style massive pyramid stadium amplifier.
Create a sound that can surpass God.
Yeah.
Ascension to deity.
That's cool. That's cool. I think that music has always been magical in this setting, but we didn't figure out the pyramid bullshit. Like, this is just now happening.
Right, amplification technology to this level, I think, is new. Like it's kind of been like folk magic. Like the comparison would be like if magic were real, like witches in little towns are like little things, but then suddenly people are starting studying wizardry and make teleportation magic. It's like a whole new ballgame.
When whatever god gave us magic music, he did not expect us to go all in on the like engineering of pyramids and shit and amplification for it. And now we're breaking it.
Humans ruined something good they were given again.
We fucking are destroying it.
I don't want to go here because it's a little too far in the future. But if they developed like electronics, electric amplifiers, it would be another sort of like revolution.
Well, maybe they just like immediately atomic bombed themselves by making too loud noises.
They pyramid up, and then the pyramids are all ruins, and everyone's like, "Who built these and why?"
Oh my god! You took the wall of sound outside the pyramid and just like, and the whole thing crumbles.
So we have like a goal, like of this, like we have this culture of like this conquering people that the goal is their king wants to become a god through the creation of a powerful sound. Should we flesh out like maybe some of the people that are resisting this or like are being conquered by them?
I think the people being conquered.
I had an idea for like a nation of like throat singers.
That's cool.
From the mountains.
Cool. Like they can make like powerful like warding magic. They can like encase themselves in stone and shit like that.
I love that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think the sitar is the tool of the oppressor. You know, since it's the prompt
As in
word, it's
reality.
kind of central. Just like in real life, obviously. No, I think that because this nation's jungle based, the conquering nation that figured out pyramids, they don't have access to quick stone deposits, right? Because your ground is covered in roots and foliage, and it's very hard to actually mine things in a jungle.
Right, so
that's why they spread out originally. And other cultures are probably much better suited for mining, and they have that technology. But the jungle, we need a name for them that's not the pyramidoids or
okay. Well, now you said pyramidoids.
I mean, what about like the Sitarii?
Oh, okay. So the Sitarii,
like Sitarii, that kind of thing.
Yeah. The Sitarii, they need a ton of stone, and these other cultures can supply that. And they're kind of ignorant in mining. So they kind of are just like, we'll just take the stone you already have out of the ground in the form of your buildings, and we'll take it apart, and we'll use that.
Yeah, you guys have more stone, so you'll be fine.
Right. You guys, it also has the added benefit of making them rebuild all their shit over and over again, which is...
Well, there could also be like a sacrificial element. Like if you're building this giant pyramid that's literally made from the broken backs of all these other civilizations, it's like you're offering, or maybe it's offering to you, the god emperor of this.
So they roll into town. They roll up to the city, let's say, and they go up to the walls, and they're like, "Look, if you guys want to resist us, that's fine. We're gonna knock all of your walls down."
Yeah, they hit the drum and bass.
We're gonna knock the shit out of them. They bring like a pyramid on wheels. They have a mobile.
Yeah,
they have some sort of fucking
like a siege tower pyramid, and at the top is like a drummer.
That's cool.
A pyramid on the back of a giant animal.
An elephant.
Yeah. Elephant.
They're kind of like Indian flavored to a certain degree. So
yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier, or like Belvin, you talked about too, like a gong style like battering ram. It's like housed in a little structure, and it goes right up to the gate, and then you just like, boom, and it just fucking tears through shit.
Yeah. Well, I want to just make sure we get some other civilizations. So I think there would be a mountain faring throat singer contingent, or just like the knights, the Jedis of the setting, where they can knock people on their ass. Because they use
their natural bodies to create sound. You know, they're not using an instrument.
Right. I mean, maybe the vibrations move through them, and they basically are magic people.
It's because they live up in the mountains. They got that good cardio.
They have stances they use to channel the sound in certain ways.
I love that.
Sonic throat warriors. Yeah. I like that. I think a lot of the conquered like towns and hamlets and like would have like resistance songs, which would keep their spirit up. Like the rebellion, the resistance is driven by these sorts of like folk songs or like we will not be moved kind of.
No, that'd be cool. You whistle a tune and it's a signal, like, and other people can recognize it.
Yeah, and it has like sort of this bardic ability to energize people.
Or to communicate or pass a message secretly through just like a tune. That's something magical too.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, telepathy through the medium of music.
Since it is currently early 2021 right now, I think we're still in the age of the sea shanty that is happening.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that no one on TikTok actually knows what a sea shanty is, that's a completely different thing. But sea shanties would actually be really effective, like that sort of formula for a song, where there's one leader that's calling out to all of the followers, and then there's, depending on if it's I'm not sure what the difference is, a long pull and a short pull exactly, but like,
well, we don't have to get into that.
Yeah,
right.
We don't.
I'm also not going to ask why TikTokers don't know what sea shanties are. I denied a digression, but
I'm explaining.
That's what you have to do.
It's a cultural trend.
The thing about a sea shanty, and the reason TikTokers don't know what they are is because
we denied it. We denied it.
Is because a sea shanty.
Talk about it.
Is because a sea shanty, you have someone lead, and then everyone just gets together for like one effort, right? Or one or two efforts, and then someone leads them to gather them up again, and then they come back in one effort, like
one big chant. Okay, yeah, okay,
ritual singing.
Maybe the power to the Sitarii are seafarers who, due to the power of chants, like rowing songs and chants, can actually move very quickly over the water. So they have like a lot of islands that aren't even that close, but they can actually kind of jet across.
Oh, that's cool. Like a Polynesian flavor to the the sea shanty.
They've
culture.
traveled fast over water, and the pyramids are kind of less of a threat to them because it's like, what are you going to do? Blow down our walls? How are you going to get a pyramid over the ocean?
Yeah, well, sound doesn't really carry over
That's
the
true
ocean.
too.
So
Yeah.
They're the counterforce.
The Empire is building this giant.
I thought it would.
Chessman.
Sound carries very well over the ocean.
Yeah, it might be the opposite of what I said.
Yeah. Listen, what if they're building this giant pyramid that can theoretically float? That they're testing as sort of an invasion.
Too far.
I like that, but due to certain trope preferences.
Listen, we said pyramid. That's already a mega structure. We were going to go mega structures in this.
We already we brought an archipelago into it too.
I wrote an Ancient Egypt XP. We've all wrote an Ancient Egypt XP. We can't always have giant pyramids doing everything in the setting.
I did like how we resisted the temptation to rob them and then be ruins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And instead they're weapons of war.
Yeah, it's different.
And the measures of civilization.
So we have the throat singers of the mountains, and then we have the sea singers of the islands. Maybe
of the Isles.
What can we rope in? What would be a third? Because we got two vocalist kind of tribes.
What if there's like an ice plateau faction, and they're kind of up on this frozen. They're past the mountain people. They're on this frozen plateau, so it's all ice. So it'd be really vulnerable to sound, actually, and they can't use a lot of sound magic because their home can be destroyed by it pretty easily.
So they're quiet,
and so they're called the Silent People, and they just have been duking it out via traditional force of arms. Like they are like the most feared badasses on like horseback or on foot because they don't use sound magic. It could literally blow up their home. And so the pyramid people, even though they're far away, they feel these people are like a threat to them. And they're like, if only we could get there, we could destroy their like glacier or their ice plateaus super easily, you know? And they have to fight a war of deterrence to keep the frontier of empire from expanding to the point where they're threatened.
But they also, and here's the problem, they live in the north. And as anybody knows, if you invade the icy north, you will lose.
Well, if you just pyramid the shit out of them.
What if the play is not actually to invade outright in like a conventional fashion, but they want to like take control of a handful of spots and build these special pyramids that go into the ice with the intent of then playing music through them that will shatter the entire continent, basically.
Yes. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What? Okay. Yeah, sure.
If it's a glacier,
Well, no,
like,
that's awesome.
If sonic power is a real thing and there's a kind of vulnerable glacier, yeah, of course you would.
Yeah. If like these people who are against you live on this fucking glacier that's super vulnerable to like sound, you know, they don't even have like rocks to steal too, because they make all their shit out of like, you know, like straw and ice and like things that would be available on a glacier. All the rocks would be very tiny and loose.
well, because like glaciers,
like animals.
the core of
probably.
glaciers are ice and snow, but like and if you look at glaciers in Alaska that are closer to like the like sea level, they have dirt and like stuff on them too. Like it's not all just solid.
It
ice.
doesn't look like ice. It's a silty kind of thing. But yeah, it could be cracked pretty easily.
Well, if the undertow happens and it caves down in, that would sort of do away with these people.
So maybe they don't use much. Maybe they have a very they have a sort of diatribe against using too much sound, of making too much
They're
sound.
suspicious of it, but they have it. Yeah, everyone has it. You know,
so like, what's the most delicate sound that the human body could make?
ASMR.
I mean, there's whispers. I think a whistle, maybe. I think maybe they whistle.
Oh, maybe that kind of at higher pitches.
Could they use magic that's like a what's like a tuning fork on like ice, like a high pitched frequency?
Are you thinking about like you know, it'd be neat is kind of just like snow chimes.
What are snow chimes?
Like, cut this out.
The
things that you hear around Christmas time, they're chimes.
You mean jingle bells?
Oh, those are sleigh bells. Okay, I'm literally
Snow chime.
Sleigh bells.
What the fuck is a snow chime? Okay,
well, you
bells.
know what? We can make it up. These people use snow chimes, which are very high pitched, like whistles.
There's snow. They're made of snow.
No.
I guess they're not called the silent people then if they use music, but they're called something else.
They're still silent. They still make an effort to not.
Well, maybe it's at frequencies that can't be heard by the human ear.
Yeah. Or what if they they can listen
like
through
a
the
dog
ice
whistle type thing?
They can listen through the ice.
If like as like a scout, like they know the land, you know, like as a hunting tool or a scouting tool. They learned they have like a person in the tribe that can listen to the ice and can hear things from like miles away.
Yeah, I like that. So they're highly connected with the land through like audio, sonic.
Their magic isn't based off all things in the world have a magic of sound to them. And rather than casting it, they're super attuned to when other animals or people are like generating sound.
Yeah.
And they just listen really good.
The silent people
that's
listen.
That's kind of cool. Oh. And that makes them like really good as fighters as well. Also,
it also explains why they can't our conquerors can't just roll up on them and fuck them up. You know, they know where they're coming from.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and they can be kind of nomadic, and you know, it's a huge ass glacier they can hide on.
And now we've established that why they're such big enemies of the Scavenger society, because what the Scavengers, we call them the Sitarii.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What the Sitarii want to do is they want to install pyramids everywhere and basically spread human sound throughout the world and like inundate the world with human sound.
Well, their sound specific, but maybe it's a specific song. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah.
Like just one melody the God Emperor is declared to be his melody?
Yeah, they think there's like a perfect harmony they can use that will ascend them to godhead, you know?
Whereas the silent people, if that sound is permeating the world, they can't hear what they think is the perfect sound, which is, I guess, silence.
Everything, the sound of everything. Yeah.
Okay, so they're one of the great enemies of the Sitarii. I've been thinking about like other little pockets of resistance to the Sitarii. One, there could be like another, like maybe the jungle sprawls out eastward. When you get deeper into the jungle, you get folks who have managed to weaponize birdsong.
Here we fucking go. Here we go.
all right, all right.
Birds are
Yeah.
friends.
I mean, bird song is like a naturally occurring music.
That is cool.
It's probably like the naturally
What does that
occurring
look
music.
like?
Weaponizing bird song.
I think the birds are trains, right? And they kind of can do flyby attacks that are very deleterious to like sanity or morale.
Well, and you can also have birds with you that give you like the bardic effects of boosting, but in a way that it's probably a different flavor than human bards. It'd be.
I think the sitar does stand out as the most man-made of all the instruments here, which is cool because the pyramid people are also a very man-made faction, and everyone else has kind of learned how to naturally use sounds. The sitar requires the most human artistry to make work.
Yeah,
much like a pyramid would.
I think with a lot of other people, it'd be like their tradition would come out of organic materials. Like maybe there's a Swan people who used to play on reeds. They take reeds and make like reed flutes, reed pipes, panpipes kind of thing.
Cool.
And there's a lot of learning both how to interact with naturally occurring sound like the bird song, and also learning how to like imitate it, like singing with the birds maybe.
Right. Well, I think that can be the leg up that these smaller, more organic groups have in resisting the Sitarii. They have all that, the generations of learned knowledge on how to do reed magic, how to do bird song magic.
And if they want to take the land is also fighting back against them. So
This is a neat one.
you have like a group of people that are like based around waterfalls. Like waterfalls make a lot of sound.
We've fleshed out a lot of
Is it
sounds
musical?
these people make, but not a lot of magic that they could cast and how it would impact their culture.
Well, I think
So for the bird people, for example, go ahead.
well,
go ahead.
just in my mind, like sound is spellcasting, music is spellcasting. You can do most things one could do with magic with sound. Like you can make things grow faster with the right music. You can inspire people to almost superhuman strength with music. You can like injure other people's nervous systems with music.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. There's like a few like very musical things that are sort of like echoes of what the reality or maybe like the myths of our world of how music works. You've got like affecting people emotionally and like jazzing them up or like chilling them out, or maybe hurting their ears essentially, but like actually hurting other parts of them.
We've got communication through music as well, which is less rooted in our world and more in this fantasy, but like telepathy, but with music as the medium.
Right. If
kind of,
everyone
so
knows
like,
the same song, you can kind of speak over it like it's a phone line or something. Yeah.
right.
Well, like Chessman talked about sea shanties, but like marchers' ballads are a thing too. That like if you're singing in unison with a group of soldiers, that could give you all enhanced like strength or just endurance or whatever.
That sounds like a Sitarii tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would it be cool if there were like Chessman? You touched on waterfalls, and I like the idea of like if there are places in the world that through nature generate sound that has like vestiges of like the god that created all this music. Like Niagara Falls or something that has like a sound that's so like pure or powerful that there are vestiges of like deific power in it.
Yeah, there could be sound druids. They use natural sound. I mean, maybe the birdsong people are that's
probably
cool
as
sound
close as
druids.
they would come.
Sound druidism.
I think something like waterfalls, like maybe I don't know how the druids would interact with them, but I know how other people would interact with them. Like the Sitarii hate waterfalls because it drowns out all the other sounds around them. You can't hear anything else. So it's sort of a refutation of their true sound. It gets completely obliterated by this natural.
Right. I guess
It refutes the good music of the country refutes the pop music of the Sitarii. Like waterfalls are like the natural structure that kind of leaped to mind immediately, but also there's canyons in the world where like the way the wind blows through it creates like powerful sounds, and
there's places where there's a complete lack of sound naturally too, like alien places where like magic would be less effective actually.
Well, actually, canyons are kind of the most natural amplification. I mean, actually, maybe more powerful amplification than pyramids typically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can't build maybe that's what they're trying to do, is build canyons by cracking the earth through pyramids.
Or maybe there's a canyon in this world that they're trying to fight their way to.
That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they're not there yet. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of if I can think of like a third geographic
Or the
feature.
canyon is the refuge. Like maybe after all these little factions are beat back, they kind of all like retreat to this canyon. I think that'd be cool.
And they
That
have
makes
like
sense.
a big they have their own amplification device that's natural.
Oh yeah, the last stand of the I don't know, the Soundful or something.
This is a cool one.
Sound tribes.
Yeah. This is a cool one. I like the magic system, and I like how magic like touches like everything in this world.
Yeah, and everything makes magic, and we kind of all are reliant upon it.
Belvin, you were Lorelad on a setting that has conflict. Look, it happened.
And it was cool.
fighting.
And it had pyramids and war.
Stop making warmongering culture.
And at the end, they heard a song so beautiful, they all turned to each other and hugged and said,
That's fucking dumb.
all
but
life
it's the
could be
last
as musical as
do
this.
it. We gotta do it. It is burning me.
See, what I
hate it.
thought the twist was going to be is that there's about to do the final battle, and then suddenly out of nowhere, a ship pops into existence, and it is loaded to bear with sports cars that are all blaring music on the radio.
Fuck me. It's so stupid.
The car cons invade.
Or the ending is someone invents earplugs.
Oh, fuck. The ending is
yeah.
we immediately pulled the plug on this episode. Shit.
Well, I think
That
we
was
fixed
probably
it.
Chessman. That is a reference I did not need to get.
You're welcome.
back in my
Our
mind.
most famous season 1
The
episode.
best call
I
back.
have rolled the dice, and the lore lad for the next episode is going to be Dan.
Oh.
Actually, I rolled a 2.
Okay, cool.
So look forward to whatever distinctive thing it is Dan brings to the table.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's probably going to be a history or something.
Yeah, we're gonna talk all
Who the
about Walt's,
fuck knows?
all the celebrities he resembles next time. Yeah, like Donald Trump and Eric Trump and Don
Yeah, y'all
Jr.
can't see Walter, but Danny DeVito comes to mind.
Yeah, I'm a hideous slug-like man.
A bridge man.
Generally,
Yeah.
a bridge ogre. Yeah.
Yeah, that's you.
Well, folks, that's our show. If you like this episode, you can subscribe to us on your podcasting service of choice to get new episodes every Saturday. If you want, go ahead and write us a review on iTunes. It really helps us out. Our art is courtesy of the talented and wonderful Shell Tor at Jovial Paradox on Twitter. You can tweet at us too at LoreLads, or send us spirited hate mail at 30minuteworlds@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and as always, happy world building.